afternoon, good evening, Jar of Marble dwellers and Jar of Marble curious. My name is Linda and this is Jar of Marbles.
And I'm Bob. Hello.
Hello, good to see you, Bob.
Good to see you too.
Thank you very much. This week, I'd like to talk a little bit about showing up imperfectly. Showing up imperfectly is one of the bravest things we can do.
I'll say.
You hear more and more about the imperfectness of us, beautiful humans, beautiful souls, gracing this planet and doing our best, just doing our lives. It sounds simple, just be yourself. But that little phrase asks a lot of us.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Bob?
Yeah, many people have had a problem with me being me.
Well, that's a them problem, Bob.
Yeah, right, thanks.
It asks us to walk into rooms without polishing every edge, to speak before we've edited every sentence, to try before we're sure we'll succeed. It asks us to be seen while still in progress.
You did that with the podcast, didn't you?
I did. I worked it out as I was doing it.
You don't care, do you?
Well, about what? Need to be a bit more specific.
That you learnt how to run your podcast with no experience.
Well, yeah, in that case, yes, correct, yes. And yet, that is where the real magic lies. I wanted the magic to learn and do anyway. I'm not famous, nor am I interested in that. This is just like my own
Show?
No, I was going to say radio segment.
Oh, yeah, okay. On your terms, all imperfectly.
Yep.
But you're old.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm old and not saying I'm not old, but when I was at school, we made our parents ashtrays for Christmas.
Good fathers.
So when we wait to be flawless, we often end up waiting forever.
Forever.
There will always be one more thing to fix, one more skill to master, one more layer of confidence, one more edit to build something to get it right.
Yeah, right, gotcha.
Perfection is a moving target. Showing up, however, is available right now. Messy hair, shaky voice, unfinished ideas and all.
Someone tells me to take it down a notch. That guarantees a 5-notch increase. Yeah, so don't try to de-notch me, man.
Okay, good suggestion there.
Yeah, that's right.
There is something deeply human about imperfection. A cracked voice in a presentation, a small mistake in a project, an honest, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, true, relatable.
These moments don't make us less worthy. They make us
relatable.
Yeah,
that's what I said. Have you ever listened to someone for a while and wondered who ties your shoelaces for you?
Oh, Bob.
Yeah, but who?
They invite connection instead of comparison. Showing up imperfectly also means giving yourself permission to learn in public.
You know that one?
I do, a couple of times or so, actually, a few times, actually.
The podcast for sure, like this podcast.
Yeah, learnt very publicly. That was a part of the fun of it. I knew I had so much to learn and I was just really, really keen just to get going. And what did I have to lose? It means letting growth be visible, and growth is really graceful. It wobbles, it stumbles, it tries again.
Yeah, it does.
If you've been holding back, waiting to feel more ready, more confident, more certain, consider this your gentle nudge.
It's your sign.
You are allowed to begin before you feel fully prepared.
Allowed? Absolutely, yes.
You are allowed to participate before you feel fully polished.
Yes, correct.
You don't have to arrive as a finished version of yourself. You only have to arrive.
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. Serious question. When someone is telling you a sad story and is crying, how long should I wait before I take a bite of my corn dog?
Yeah, well, okay, well, that's a legit question. Don't be rude. Give them a hug and grab a bite from behind their back.
You're awful.
Well, I've been round you for a while. So you only need to arrive, and sometimes that is more than enough.
Yeah, right.
So showing up imperfectly is, in its own quiet way, one of the most charming things a person can do.
It's kind of charming, yeah.
There's something deeply human and honestly a little magnetic about effort that isn't polished to a mirror shine. It's classic in the way old films are classic. Slightly grainy, bit flawed, but full of life.
I was watching a show for about 10 minutes and this lady was listing all these great things to do for fun. Then I realised it's one of those religious channels and she was reading a list of sins. Yeah.
Perfection can feel distant, staged, even untouchable. Imperfection, on the other hand, feels like an open door. When someone shows up imperfectly, they're not hiding behind rehearsed lines or waiting for the right moment.
Just had a detective knock on my door saying he was looking for a man with one eye. I told him if he used both, he'd probably find him a lot quicker.
You're so helpful.
Yeah, I know. Full of ideas, yeah.
So they're choosing presence over polish. That's where the cute part comes from. Not cute as in trivial, but cute as in endearing.
Disarming.
Yeah, real.
Yeah, real, yeah.
A wobbly first attempt, a voice that shakes a little, a project that's clearly in progress. These things carry a kind of warmth.
Yeah, it's not annoyingly smooth.
Yeah, they say, I care enough to try, even if I'm not there yet. Normalising that kind of showing up changes everything. It loosens the tight grip of fear that tells people they have to be excellent before they're allowed to begin.
Look, I'm not a morning person, nor am I a night person. There are a few minutes in the afternoon where I'm decent, and that's about it. Yeah, that's it.
Well, at least you're up front.
Yeah, that's right, I reckon, yeah.
So when imperfection is accepted, even celebrated, people feel free to experiment. They try things they're not good at yet. They risk being seen mid-process. And most importantly, they try and they try again.
Oh, yeah, awesome. That's good. Always try, I say.
Because that's the truth. We often overlook nothing is achieved in a single flawless leap.
We can expect way too much of ourselves way too soon, can't we?
Yeah, without a doubt. It's just not reasonable. Everything meaningful is built through iterations. Messy, uneven, sometimes awkward repetitions.
Hey, fun fact, did you know that the first bottle of Coca-Cola from 1894 contained around 3.5 grams of cocaine? Explains why our parents and grandparents could walk to and from uphill both ways in the snow barefoot. Yeah.
And people wonder why it was more popular than Pepsi. So creative license exists precisely for this reason. It gives permission to explore without a guaranteed outcome, to follow curiosity instead of certainty, to make something simply because the act of making feels alive.
Yeah, live, it does.
Joyous effort lives in that space. It's not about grinding toward a perfect result. It's about engaging fully, even playfully, with the process.
Hey, don't wait until you're on your deathbed. Tell people to piss off now.
Oh, tell us what you really think, Bob.
Yeah, well, I did.
Good on you.
Yeah.
So, when people allow themselves to show up imperfectly, they're not increasing their chances of success, they're transforming the experience itself. It becomes lighter, more expansive, and more sustainable.
You know, you can't have a bad day at work if you don't go.
Well, there you go. Is that what it is?
That is exactly what it is, yeah.
And ironically, that's how excellence actually emerges, not from rigid control, but from freedom, not from waiting until you're ready, but from starting before you are.
I don't think we get smarter with age. I think we just run out of stupid things to do.
Thank you for that.
Is that right? Yeah.
So, showing up imperfectly just isn't admirable, it's essential. It's the starting point of all growth, all creativity, all real progress.
Yeah, right, yeah.
It's how things begin, how they evolve, and how they become something worth sharing.
So Red Riding Hood couldn't figure out a talking wolf wasn't her grandmother?
Well, some people can't see the obvious. So showing up imperfectly is a kind of courage.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
It's not loud or polished, not the sort of thing that earns immediate applause.
And yet...
Thank you, Bob.
It's all right. I like the applause button.
Yes, and thank you for that.
It's all right.
But it's real, and more importantly, it's fair.
Envelopes are weird. It's like, here's some paper wrapped in paper sealed with my spit.
Good call, Bob.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that too.
I know. So if you're looking for a reasonable way to measure effort, growth, or even self-respect, this might be one of the best bars you can set. Did I show up? Even if I wasn't ready. Some of us get to say yes because readiness is a moving target.
Oh, yeah, a moving target. Oh, I like that. True, it is, yeah.
So if you wait until you feel fully prepared, fully confident, fully certain, you you might be waiting a long time.
Yeah, very good chance it'll never get off the ground, yeah.
You might end up waiting maybe forever. But showing up imperfectly sidesteps that trap. It says, I don't need to be finished to begin.
Yeah, right.
I remember when I was going on YouTube and trying to find out as much as I could about how to create a podcast and all the different software and microphones and everything that I might need to sort of get started. I was listening to this guy talking about how he'd gone to a kind of seminar where people who were looking at becoming podcasters or people who had just started in the industry, and that there were people showing up year after year after year who hadn't actually started because they were still trying to perfect and tweak different things. So as I say, sometimes you might be waiting a long time, and I think we get so worried about judgment that we just won't give it a go. When we were kids, this came naturally. We didn't hesitate to try things, did we, that we were bad at? We didn't even think of it like that. We sang off key, we drew lopsided pictures, we ran races, we knew we might lose. We probably didn't even think that far.
We didn't even consider that. It was flat out doing and having fun. Beyond that, nothing. Yeah.
And somehow that was the cool thing. Not because we were good, but because we were in it.
Yeah, that's it. Just in it. In the moment, as it were.
Yeah, there was a kind of unspoken admiration for anyone willing to jump in, to risk looking silly, not caring about that, to play without guarantees.
That's you, isn't it? You don't care, do you?
Well, no, not really, no. Somewhere along the way, many of us traded that freedom for polish. We started believing that effort should be hidden until it produces something impressive.
Yeah, somewhere along the way.
That if we can't do something well, we shouldn't do it at all. But that mindset shrinks life.
The old shrinky.
It narrows the range of what we're willing to try, who we're willing to be, and how we're willing to grow. Showing up imperfectly expands things again.
Give us expansion, yeah! Right, give me an applause, that's right.
Thank you. It opens the door to experiences you'd otherwise miss, conversations you'd avoid, not have, skills you'd never start, and possibly opportunities you'd talk yourself out of.
Coffee isn't enough today. I need to be struck by lightning.
Just have coffee, it's safer. It allows for momentum, which is often more valuable than confidence. Confidence tends to follow action, not precede it.
I hate it when a website says, are you a human? Like, no, I'm an air fryer.
It also builds resilience in a very practical way. When you regularly allow yourself to be a beginner, to stumble, to not have all the answers, failure loses some of its sting. It becomes part of the process instead of a verdict on your ability.
My tolerance for idiots is extremely low today. I used to have some immunity built up, but obviously there's a new strain out there.
And there's something else. It makes life more interesting, more textured, more human.
Yeah, right.
Perfection is static, but imperfection is alive. It adapts, surprises, evolves.
Surprises me.
Well, it surprised me a few times too, Bob. And when you show up as you are, unfinished and uncertain, you leave room for unexpected outcomes.
Yeah, right.
New skills, new connections, new directions you couldn't have planned for.
Sometimes I do random acts of kindness, like keeping my mouth shut, for example.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
No, really.
Well, I know.
People notice this too, not always consciously, but they feel it. There's something compelling about someone who's willing to try without needing to impress. It signals honesty, openness, and a kind of grounded confidence that doesn't depend on getting everything right.
I guess they had to invent artificial intelligence since real intelligence is running out.
Oh, only in spots, darling. Only in spots. So if you're measuring yourself, if you're wondering whether you're doing enough or doing it well, consider a simpler question. Did I show up?
Yeah, did you show up?
Well, not perfectly, not flawlessly, just honestly and with some willingness to try. That's a fair bar, and more than that, it's a generous one.
Always remember the good times in your life, like when your knees used to work.
Righto. because it doesn't just judge where you are, it makes space for where you could go.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Possibilities.
Yeah, there's a quiet kind of courage in applying for a job, for example, that you're not sure you're ready for. It doesn't look like confidence on the surface. It often feels like doubt, hesitation, even a bit of imposter syndrome. But underneath, it's a decision to show up anyway.
That's got to be a good thing. Giving it a go is a splendid thing. I have reached the stage in my life where feeling good is highly contingent on how fast my ibuprofen kicks in and how much chocolate is in the pantry.
Excellent.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So mostly we tend to believe we need to be fully formed before we're allowed to step forward.
But why is that?
Well, we often carry this quiet belief that we must be complete and we must, have it all perfect, and that as if readiness is something you achieve first and action comes later. But the truth is that the version of fully formed doesn't really exist, because growth doesn't happen before the step. It happens because of it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That we should tick every box, meet every requirement, feel completely certain.
Some say life begins at 40, others say 50.
Nonsense. Life begins the moment you decide to stop trying to please the audience.
Nice, I like that.
Oh, thank you. A bit of an applause.
Oh, yeah.
But in reality, most growth happens in the stretch, when you're reaching beyond what feels comfortable and claiming space before you feel entirely qualified to occupy it.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's that.
If you're in the middle of your studies, you're not behind, you're in motion. You're actively building knowledge, discipline, and the ability to learn, which is one of the most valuable skills any employer could ask for.
Being the crazy doesn't require any, crazy like me, like this kind of crazy, doesn't require any training. I just get out of bed and bam, there I am.
There you are.
Yeah.
So even when your studies don't perfectly match the job description, they still demonstrate something powerful: curiosity, commitment, and the capacity to grow.
Hey, have you ever restarted the dryer because you didn't feel like folding the clothes?
We can get really ingenious ideas if we are pushed. So those traits don't just support employability, they define it. Showing up imperfectly doesn't mean you're unprepared, it means you're willing.
See, now I like that.
Yeah, willing to try, to learn, to adapt. Oh my goodness, it is such an attractive trait. It is
What are you trying to say?
well, it's a trait that I admire. Someone is just prepared to give something a go. It means you trust that you don't need to have everything figured out before you begin, because the truth is, no one does. Many people you think are qualified simply decided to go for it because they felt ready.
I've reached an age where I can't tell if I've sustained an injury or that's just how I am now.
So, apply. Submit the application, even if your voice in your head says you're not enough yet. Let your current progress speak for you. Let your willingness to learn fill the gaps you're worried about. You're not pretending, you're becoming.
Yeah, like that. Highly admirable.
I think that was the word I was trying to say before.
Yeah, I know.
And that counts for far more than perfection anything ever could. And you know what? Most of us are showing up imperfectly. I've applied for jobs, got them, and then later re-looked the JD over.
Job description?
Yeah, I've looked at the original job description and 90% of it did not describe the job that I actually ended up doing. So most of it's a load of codswallop.
Now there's a word.
Now, waiting until everything feels perfect can become a way of hiding, not intentionally but out of fear. Fear of getting it wrong, of being seen, of not measuring up. Hashtag showing up imperfectly. So we delay, telling ourselves we'll start when we're more confident, more skilled, more sure. But confidence isn't a prerequisite, it's a result.
I just looked at my laugh lines in the mirror and I genuinely do not remember anything being that hilarious.
You look fabulous, Bob.
I do?
You do. So it's built in the doing, in the trying, in the moments where things don't go to plan and you keep going anyway. Being imperfect doesn't disqualify you. It makes you human.
Yeah, that's right.
And being willing to try, to learn, to risk a little discomfort, that's what actually moves things forward. Progress belongs to those who show up before they feel ready.
Give it a go. Do it.
You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be willing to have a go.
I don't need therapy. I need someone to try and rob me in a grocery store parking lot so I can just let it all out. And hands up if your mama didn't raise no fool. Freaking psycho maybe, but no fool.
Oh dear. So when we finally allow ourselves to show up imperfectly, something profound begins to shift, not just in our mindset, but deep within our nervous system.
Hey, what if umbrellas were supposed to be just called brellas, but the person who named them just hesitated?
Yeah. Umbrellas. Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
So for many of us, perfectionism is a protective strategy. It's the nervous system trying to keep us safe from judgment, rejection,
Or failure.
yeah. And when we strive to get everything just right, we're often we're often operating, say, from a subtle state of threat, a low-level fight or flight response where mistakes feel dangerous and vulnerability feels risky. The body tightens, the breath shortens, and we stay hyper aware of how we're being perceived.
When life gives you lemons, be happy it wasn't syphilis.
Oh, you never disappoint, Bob.
Yeah, I know.
But the moment we choose to show up imperfectly, to speak even when our voice shakes, to create without polishing every edge, to be seen without full control, we send a radically different signal to the body. We communicate, this is safe enough.
Yeah, true.
At first, the nervous system may resist. There may be discomfort, even a spike in anxiety.
Well, that's natural.
Yeah, you're stepping outside a long practiced survival pattern.
Yeah, right.
But if you stay with the experience, if you let yourself be seen and realise nothing catastrophic happens, your system begins to recalibrate.
That's it. Nothing catastrophic happens.
Hashtag showing up imperfectly. Here's 5 things that, over time, does a few powerful things. 1, it reduces chronic stress. When you stop constantly monitoring and correcting yourself, the body no longer needs to stay in a guarded state. You move more often into regulation where breath deepens, muscles soften, and energy becomes available again.
I watch people and wonder how some of them actually found their way out of the birth canal.
Be sweet, parakeet.
Yeah, all right.
Number 2, it builds resilience. Each imperfect action becomes evidence, I can handle this.
Yeah, true.
Your nervous system learns that discomfort isn't danger. This expands your capacity to take risks, connect with others, and recover from setbacks more easily.
I hate it when I see an old person, then realise we went to high school together.
It's a bit like that. And 3, it increases authenticity and connection.
The old connection thingy.
Yeah, humans are wired for realness, not perfection. When you show up as you are, your nervous system shifts toward social engagement, feeling safer with others, and ironically, this is when people feel most drawn to you.
Yeah, I get that. I have that allure. You know, people just can't help themselves. They're only human.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
So the 4th one, it creates internal safety. Instead of outsourcing your sense of worth to flawless performance, you begin to feel safe within yourself. Your body learns you don't have to earn belonging by being perfect. You already belong.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
And 5, it frees up energy for living.
Be free.
Perfectionism is exhausting. Letting go of it releases a huge cognitive and emotional load. That energy can then be redirected into creativity, play, relationships, and growth.
I thought about being productive today, and then I thought, well, it's the thought that counts, really, isn't it? Yeah. Well, that's how I just thought it.
In essence, showing up imperfectly is not about lowering standards. It's about retraining your nervous system to experience life as safe and flexible rather than rigid and threatening.
Oh, yeah.
And the more you practice it, the more your body begins to trust.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can be seen as I am, and I'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be okay. Hey, have you had an awkward moment when you spell a common word correctly, but it just looks so wrong that you stare at it forever, questioning its existence?
Yep. I think that's definitely happened, yes. I think it's just a tired brain, you know. And that's the end of another episode, Bob. Showing up imperfectly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Thanks for being here with us today. If there's one thing we hope you take away, it's this. You don't have to be perfect to show up. You just have to begin. The messy, uncertain, beautifully imperfect parts of you are more than enough. We're so grateful you chose to spend this time with us. Take care of yourself and keep showing up as you are. And
So this is fairly well, really.
yes, Bob.
Okay then.
So, say g'day to the family for me, give the piggy a bicky, and we'll see you next time, okay? Okay then, bye.
Bye!